Ever since you were a kid, you knew something didn't feel right. You looked around and wondered why everything seemed off, why the games felt fake, why the conversations felt shallow, why the adults wore masks they didn't even realize they were wearing. And deep down you asked yourself, is there something wrong with me? But no one gave you an answer, so you kept it to yourself. That quiet discomfort, that invisible weight you carried through the years. You laughed when others laughed, but it didn't feel real. You tried to fit in, but it always felt forced. You did what you were told, but something inside kept pulling you away. It wasn't a phase. It was a knowing. The truth is, you were never supposed to fit in. You didn't come here to belong. You came here to wake up and to remember. That constant sense of not belonging was never a flaw. It was your first sign, the sign of an old soul in a world that runs on noise. You weren't lost, you were different. And different doesn't mean broken. It means you came with memory, and with depth, with a frequency that didn't match this world's surface. Maybe you've always felt like you were searching for something, a feeling, a place, a truth, but couldn't name it. Maybe there were moments where you felt so out of place that you started believing you were the problem. But listen closely. You're not the problem. This world just isn't built for the depth your soul carries. You saw through people. You felt things others ignored. You questioned what everyone else accepted. You refused to shrink, even when the world told you to be smaller. And still, you stayed silent. You became good at hiding it. You wore the mask, but never forgot it was a mask. And now something is waking up. You're remembering. That strange feeling you've carried all your life? It wasn't madness. It was your soul, calling you back home. You didn't come here to follow the script. You came here to rewrite it. This is not just a video, it's a moment of recognition. If these words hit something deep inside you, it's because you were meant to hear them. Your soul has waited a long time for this, and this is just the beginning. Let's be honest, not all souls come from the same place. Not all souls carry the same weight. Some are brand new, still learning how to navigate this dense world. And others have been through lifetimes of fire. If you've always felt older than your age, if you've always sensed things others couldn't explain, if you've questioned reality since childhood, there's a reason. You're not just a sensitive person. You're not just deep or emotional. You're an old soul, and your energy doesn't match this world's noise. Old souls carry the memory of many lives, and with that comes a kind of spiritual fatigue, like you've already danced this dance, and now you're only here for the truth. You don't care about status. You're not chasing approval. You've seen through the illusion, and even if you don't fully remember why, you know you've come back with a purpose. But here's the paradox. The more evolved the soul, the harder it is to exist in a world still asleep. So you feel like a foreigner in your own body. You walk through crowds and feel invisible. You sit in rooms full of people and still feel completely alone. This isn't depression. It's spiritual exile. You remember something that can't be spoken. You long for a home that doesn't exist here. And sometimes you carry that ache without words. But you're not alone in this feeling. Manly P. Hall once said, "The initiate feels like a stranger in the world because he remembers the source." That quote, it's not poetry, it's a key. You remember the source. Even if you can't put it into language, your soul is vibrating with echoes from lifetimes ago. And that's why the small talk drains you. That's why you can't play along. That's why you're drawn to ancient knowledge, to symbols, to dreams that feel more real than this life. You didn't come here to chase illusions. You came to wake up. You came to activate what others forgot. And if you felt exhausted lately, if you felt like giving up, don't. Because the moment you begin to remember who you truly are, everything shifts. This world may not understand you, but your soul does. And you're not here by accident. You're here on assignment. You didn't just arrive here randomly. You chose this incarnation. You chose the forgetting. It might sound strange at first, but your soul agreed to this veil, to be born into a world that would try to make you forget who you truly are. Why? Because the remembering is the key. Because only by forgetting could you truly awaken, not from words, but from within. You came with light, but you had to first walk through the dark. And in that darkness you felt it, that empty ache in your chest, that longing for something you couldn't name, that homesickness for a place you don't even remember. That wasn't depression. That wasn't weakness. That was your soul reacting to the silence, to the heavy layers of this world. You were born into a system that teaches you how to survive, but not how to feel, how to obey, but not how to remember, and so you forgot. We all did, but the forgetting was sacred. Edgar Cayce spoke often about the veil of matter, how the soul descends into physical life and forgets its own origin, only to be led, step by step, back into light. He called it a return to our spiritual inheritance. Helena Blavatsky said, "To remember is to awaken. The soul is not learning, it is recalling." And this is the shift happening in you now. The more you awaken, the more the world begins to feel surreal, as if the dreams carry more truth than the daylight. As if time is starting to bend, as if your old life no longer fits the shape of your soul. You see signs, you feel messages in songs, in numbers, in moments. You recognize eyes you've never seen before, because your soul is starting to remember. Not just memories from childhood, but something deeper, wider, older, the sound of your name before this name, and that remembering is your real power. The system may try to define you by labels. Family may expect you to be who they always thought you were. Society may shame your strangeness, but the truth is, you came here to shake the illusion. You didn't forget because you failed. You forgot because it was part of the sacred plan, and now the veil is thinning. What you felt your whole life, it wasn't confusion. It was the soul stretching to find the door, and now you've found it. Not everyone will understand you. Not everyone is supposed to. Because you're not here to blend in. You're here to remember. And the signs have been there all along. Let's name them now. Not just as traits, but as soul codes. 1. You think differently. While others chase validation, you crave meaning. You question the script. You feel uncomfortable when things don't align with your inner truth, even if it makes you look weird. 2. You feel more connected to the stars than to the city. Nature recharges you. The moon speaks to you. And sometimes you look at the sky and feel like someone is watching, not in fear but in deep recognition. 3. Your intuition isn't a whisper, it's a storm. You've always known when something was off. You felt energies in rooms. You've dreamed things before they happened, and for a long time you doubted yourself, but deep down you knew. 4. You resist systems that feel fake, school, work, roles, anything that tries to box you in. You feel suffocated in spaces that demand performance over presence. 5. You're drawn to ancient knowledge. While others scroll through noise, you're reading about reincarnation, sacred geometry, hidden history. It's not just interest, it's recognition. 6. You reject normal, because to you normal feels like a lie. And the more you tried to fit in, the more your soul started to shrink. 7. You felt deeply alone, even surrounded by people. Not because you're broken, but because you remember something no one around you talks about. You carry the weight of that memory like a silent flame. And you're not crazy. You're not broken. You're remembering. As Manly P. Hall once said, "The true initiate walks among men cloaked in silence, holding light others cannot yet see." That's you. You've been walking among the noise, silent, strange, sensing. And now the cloak is coming off. Now the light inside you refuses to be hidden. You weren't meant to fit into this version of reality. You were meant to shift it, to crack it open, to remember, and then help others do the same. And if no one told you this before, let me say it now. You're not from here, but you are here for a reason, and that reason is waking up now. At first it's subtle, a strange pull, a memory that doesn't have a source, a song lyric that hits harder than it should. You're walking through your day, and something flickers, something ancient. And for a second it feels like you're not entirely here. That's not imagination, it's not distraction, it's a soul signal, a download from the part of you that never forgot. Because deep down, you've always known you were here for something more. But it's not a thing you can chase. It's a truth you have to remember. You start noticing glitches, moments where time bends, moments when the people around you feel like characters in a play, moments where the world seems to be speaking directly to you, through signs, through patterns, through symbols. This isn't madness, this is awakening. You begin to feel like you're walking through two realities at once, the outer one, full of noise, and the inner one, pulsing with meaning. You feel the pull, not forward, but inward. That's the calling. That's how it begins. At first you think it's anxiety. You think you're losing your grip. You think you need answers. But the truth is, what you really need is to surrender to the knowing that's been trying to reach you all along. You look in the mirror and feel something ancient looking back. You hear a child laugh and your heart breaks open for no reason. You hold a book and your hands start to tremble before you even open it. That's not random, that's remembrance. Because this world isn't what it seems, and neither are you. The matrix runs on forgetfulness, on repetition, on distraction. But your soul carries the original code. It remembers truth in a world of simulation. And when the veil starts to thin, you begin to sense it. You're not your name. You're not your story. You're not your fears, your roles, your wounds. You are the one watching, the witness, the frequency behind the form. You are the soul that chose to come here, to descend into this timeline, to feel the weight, to forget, just enough, so that your remembering would be real. Helena Blavatsky once said, "Truth is not something outside to be discovered. It is something inside to be remembered." You didn't come here to collect answers. You came to reawaken ancient memory encoded in your cells. That's why you resonate with voices from other times. That's why you cry at things you can't explain. That's why dreams feel more like home than your waking life sometimes. Because your soul isn't new. It's returning, piece by piece, flash by flash. And the more you remember, the more the old life begins to crack. The roles feel tighter. The small talk becomes unbearable. The masks of others start falling, and with them, your own. You begin to crave silence, nature, stillness. You begin to notice that your heart responds to things your mind doesn't yet understand. That's memory awakening. That's your ancient self, stepping forward. And yes, it's intense. Yes, it's lonely. Yes, it can feel like no one understands what's happening inside you, but that's because most are still asleep, still caught in the noise. You, on the other hand, you've heard the whisper. The calling doesn't scream. It vibrates in your chest, in your bones, in your dreams. And when it asks you, are you ready to remember who you really are? You'll know. Not because the answer will be easy, but because something in you can no longer pretend. You don't belong to this world. You belong to what's beyond it. And yet here you are, and inside it, to bring that beyond into form. You are not here to escape reality. You are here to recode it, to anchor the truth others forgot, to wake up inside the dream and say, I remember. You're not broken, you're just remembering. You're not lost, you're just reactivating ancient truth. You didn't come here to be perfect. You came to be present, and through that presence, become a mirror for others to see themselves clearly. This is not a breakdown, this is a breakthrough. This is the soul stepping out from behind the mask. So if your world has felt upside down lately, if you've cried for no reason, if you felt like your skin doesn't quite fit anymore, good. That means the illusion is cracking. That means the real you is waking up. And the moment you say yes to this calling, even just once, everything starts to shift. Because the remembering is not just for you. It's for all those who are waiting to see someone like you remember first. And now you're ready. Because this isn't the end of your path. It's the return to the beginning. Now that the truth has been stirred, you can't unsee it. You can't unfeel it. Even if the world tries to pull you back into sleep, something inside you has already opened. And once it opens, you are no longer who you were. This is not just insight, it's ignition. Your soul has been waiting for this spark, and now the flame is lit. That's why the noise feels louder, the lies feel heavier, and the truth feels impossible to ignore. You weren't meant to live numb. You weren't meant to just get by. You came to wake up in the middle of the illusion and carry a light that others forgot. And now, we honor that light. We don't end this journey with more words. We end with a doorway, a space, a sacred pause that your soul recognizes. So take this moment for yourself. Let the distractions fall away. Let the outside world blur for a while. Because this is the place where remembering begins. Take a deep breath, in through your nose, and slowly out through your mouth. Place one hand over your heart, and the other gently over your belly. This is your axis, the meeting point of spirit and form. Here lives your true name, the one that echoes across lifetimes, the one that no one gave you, but you've always known. Now, either in a whisper or in silence, say these words as if your soul was listening. I remember who I really am. I was never lost. I was never broken. I was simply remembering. Don't rush. Let each word vibrate inside you. Let them echo through all timelines. Because when you speak truth at the level of soul, the universe listens. Now close your eyes if you haven't already, and visualize yourself standing in a vast, sacred field of stars. Endless space. But you're not alone. Behind you, thousands of lifetimes, moments of courage, lessons learned, wounds healed. In front of you, a golden thread, subtle, soft, alive. It's not pulling you to a place, but to a frequency. That frequency is home. Not a building, not a planet, but a feeling of deep truth, deep love, and total remembrance. Let yourself walk toward it, or float, or simply allow it to meet you. Feel it entering your chest, feel it warming your hands, feel it softening your mind. That's not imagination. That's memory reactivating. You are not becoming anything. You are uncovering what was hidden. You are returning to what you've always been, an old soul with a sacred mission, in a borrowed body, carrying an eternal flame. And from now on, when the world feels heavy again, when you forget, when you doubt, when you ache, come back to this moment. Repeat the truth. I remember who I really am. Let this be your anchor, your portal, your inner compass when everything outside seems lost. Because the truth is, you are not lost, you are not broken, you are awakening. And with every breath, you are calling back the forgotten pieces of yourself, the ones that held the codes, the ones that crossed lifetimes, the ones that knew this moment would come. Now listen, not with your ears, but with your being. Your soul is whispering again, welcome back, we've been waiting for you. Drop this in the comments if your soul feels it. I remember who I really am. And if this video stirred something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Someone you love might be waiting for this exact message. Subscribe, stay close, because we're only just beginning.